People, deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Good morning to my viewers in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night where appropriate. Big up everybody for tuning in wherever you are. Like I said, please make sure you're hitting that like button early doors. Another shameless plug, people, but as you know, it's Europa League watch along night. Please don't miss out, live from 7 p.m. Even if you're not going to be there, hit the like button, people. It's in the pin message, it's floating around in the comments, and I will be floating that one around. So yeah, man, I hope you're doing well and safe. I know you've all been, busy this week, and I hope you're moving closer towards your goals as usual. Obviously, I done the watch along for the Champions League twice. The last 2 game weeks, we all saw Kylian Mbappe and Neymar and all of those sort of things. Yesterday, we saw Real Madrid and Liverpool the day before. Now it's back to the real elite competition, the Europa League, and a watch along that's going to be filled with emotions. Now, as you lot know, people, our season's on the line. Now, granted, how many times have we said must win, season on the line, crunch time, this defeat has to spur them on? I'm to be very honest with you, I'm tired of bullish talk and fighting talk. I think the best way to put things right sometimes is to remain silent and put in a performance. It really is what it is. It's Europa League or nothing. I think the reason why we've seen some poor performances beyond the obvious is because naturally the players have been sensing that. They've been sensing this for a while, and they've messed up. These players have a fetish for failure. Sadly, they're going to be attached to failure again today. Again, it's 180 minutes. I do want to beat Slavia Prague, especially because of what happened to Glenn Kamara and things like that, especially because it's the Europa League. But people are going to need to stand up to be counted. If you lose today or do not get victory, you can't see where you go from there. And it's another game, really. If you're Arsenal, I think there's a benefit at this moment in time that you're playing behind closed doors. Because if you played how you did against Liverpool, and today it would be uncomfortable. It'd be uncomfortable. Notice how, because our form has been poor, there's no talk from the manager or the club about missing the fans right now. When it's a bit more a bit more rosier, it is, people. We're gonna get into what Arteta has said in a second, people. There's 44 of you locked in within the first 2 minutes. Please make sure you hit the like button. What are you guys saying? Big up the members, big up the members, the subscribers, and obviously the Twitch gang. You said last chance, you Arsenal edition. Josh is saying it's crunch time. Live from Planet X is saying we all know what happened to Arsenal when the odds are in our favor. So Mazzoline, South London, has said, just saw the Kamara interview. I swear to God, if these men are not up for this one, that's me done. We need to put 5 past them. Put 5 past them, clamp them into oblivion. It's war today. And to be honest, I always say to you, sadly, a lot of these Arsenal players, you wouldn't want to go, you wouldn't want to get into any problems or any sort of static in a nightclub or elsewhere, because you don't know if these guys have your back. Some of these guys can't fight. Some of them won't fight. Some of them don't know how to fight. Some of them just don't have it in them, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, Mo, innit? Like Mo was saying, DG, we was watching Kroos, Kevin De Bruyne. Don't forget Modric on Wednesday. We're watching Kovacic and Wednesday, sorry, we were watching Kovacic and Kimmich, and today we are watching Fred and XHAKA. To be fair, we need XHAKA, we miss XHAKA, man. So it's what it is, and that it kills me to say that. Of course, we're favourites in this game, without a doubt. But I'm sure most Arsenal fans won't put us there, because obviously the form we've at, we don't know what's going to happen here. They need to stand up to be counted. We don't need to bore each other with that. It is what it is in that regards. So yeah, carrying on, people. Let's get on to exactly what's being said. Yo, hey, Ak, I hope you're doing well and safe. I really appreciate that. When did you start today? Thought the stream was 11:20, 11 o'clock. I don't know why you'd think it's 11:20. Starting slightly earlier because, as you lot know, I'm always on Rancy's show on Thursday, so I like to start this a bit earlier. That's at 1. You can see how 11:30 to 12:30, there's a little room for sort of calming down where I can do my little 11 till 12ish, and then have a little food and whatnot, and then we go again, people. It is what it is. I'm purposely not answering your question because questions like this are extremely lazy, and when you start shouting, I'm not going to answer it. The energy you're putting into typing that, you can Google it. Google is free. I'm not going to answer pointless questions. I can't lie to you, with respect. So yeah, people, big up everybody locked in. Like Rafa is saying, it is a must win. It goes without saying, really and truly. Please make sure you hit the like button. Let's get straight into what Mikel Arteta is just talking about, really and truly, because as poor as Arteta has been at times, I do think sometimes, he's preaching to the deaf, in the deaf being these players. They're not making sense at all. The funny part is said, I've been done from we lost to Spurs without a fight, yellow or red card. It's time to go. Fair play. R.I.P. the man who famously made that saying, Claude. It's not even a savage thing. It's like, bro, like, man are shouting at me, like, for something on Google. I'm not a dog, bro. Like, I don't ask people questions I can Google. Like, bro, Google it. So I'm purposely not answering it. And the more my man's typing, the more it's going to get aired. Steve, big up yourself. Big up all the Americans, them as well. Let's get into exactly what it is, people. I'm tired of just hearing Arsenal speak, admittedly, but with you guys, we've got to go through it. When asked by the people them on whether the Europa League is all or nothing, I don't know how this is a question. He said, this competition is all or nothing because when you play a tie, you are in or you are out. We want to be in the semi-finals and we know how important the game is for us. For people, really and truly, I'm going to be serious with you, you know. You can say this, but I'm still hung up on those comments we've learned from Olympiacos. We haven't, because the Olympiacos ties and the Benfica ties were anything but plain sailing. They kind of sum up our league form in that bits and pieces of good form over the whole 90 is terrible. Sort of thing. So it is what it is. So it is, you know, if you want to be in the semi-finals, you know what you need to do. I don't think the manager can tell players things, but again, if we lose the manager, there's going to be problems. When asked on the chances of qualification via the Premier League being gone, he took a leaf out of Arsene Wenger's book. He said, until it's mathematically impossible, you have to fight. And I have to stop you there, Arteta. That's where you need to be on these players. These players are not fighting to achieve the impossible. I'm seeing other teams around us trying to do that. They're not trying to do that. You know, they're not trying to... At this moment in time, we can't... There's several variables Arsenal cannot control. We cannot control what other teams are doing. We cannot control, you know, if they're going to lose and things. But what we can do is the minimum turn up. And several times we haven't turned up. You know, you didn't turn up against Burnley. You didn't turn up. You didn't turn up against Liverpool. You didn't turn up in the draw against Crystal Palace. You didn't turn up against Southampton in the FA Cup. You can't cheat things. The minimum is turning up and being serious. So yeah, until it's mathematically possible, we have to fight. But I don't see fight from you guys. He said there's no other way to do it. We have to be realistic with where we are in the league, and it's extremely difficult. But mathematically, it's possible. So we have to stick with that. So it's a myth. Somehow you lot have managed to be poorer than last year. So it is what it is. On Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who I want to get on to Paul Merson. I'm not happy with Paul Merson at all. Again, you criticize Aubameyang all you want, but don't be an effing hypocrite. And I don't really like how the Wolves are always out for players. But on Aubameyang, he said, we rely on every player in the squad to give their best, to give their maximum, and to perform on the pitch at the level that is required at this club, which Aubameyang evidently isn't doing, along with several other players. On Kieran Tierney, now Arteta, you've shot yourself in the foot, because if you was going to, you know, you didn't wake up in January and say we're selling Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles has to, via his agents or via you must have known him and Kolasinac were angling for moves or were going to leave. So you needed to bring in a left back, whether that was Ryan Bertram, Van Aanholt, getting somebody on loan. It needed to be done. It weren't done. As an Arsenal fan, it didn't look like a problem, because you've had you know, XHAKA go play there. You got Cedric and Saka, sorry. XHAKA can be forced there. But as you know, as an Arsenal fan, you always have to account for the worst. And Tini's had an unlucky time with injuries. He's got knee ligament. He's had a shoulder. It's not like he's had a hip. It's not like these are recurring injuries. Maybe it's because as a result of the way he plays, his playing style. I don't know. But all I know is we're without our player. We're without our first choice left back. We're without a natural left back. We're without the leadership he gives us. Without a consistent player. It's good that he's back in 4 to 6 weeks. Again, probably his season's done for Arsenal. But for Scotland in relation to the Euros, that's positive news. Obviously, we just want my man to be back in full fitness. He said we have to first make sure that he doesn't need any surgery, which it doesn't look like. If that's the case, the time frame will be around 4 to 6 weeks. It could have been worse because the action looks quite scary, but he's feeling better and the damage is not that bad. At the end of the day, it's not the bad news that maybe we were expecting after the game. On whether Tierney will play again this season, I don't know. We're going to have to go day by day to see how Kieran is feeling, how he's reacting. When we get close to playing and training with the team, depending on where we are and how he's feeling, we'll make a decision. He was then pressed on Tierney at the Euros. He said, again, it will depend on how things evolve in the next few weeks. He's so keen to play for us before the end of the season, and he's extremely keen to represent his country in the Euros. So, you know, I'm sure Kieran Tierney wants to be back sooner rather than later. It is what it is. In relation to Odegaard, we all know he's allegedly a doubt for today. He said, again, we'll assess today how he's feeling. He's been carrying an injury for the last 2 or 3 days since he got injured with the national team. We have a few of them from the last game when we played against Liverpool. And maybe that's where Arteta's showing his inexperience. Like with Partey against Spurs, we know if you take Odegaard out of the team, we can't get 3 points. But this is what I mean. You know, I see them isolated games as battles. The war being getting Europa League, qualifying for top 4. And we messed around with Partey, and look at the knock-on effects that had. If we knew Odegaard wasn't fully fit for the Liverpool game, I know that the player's always going to want to play, but if he weren't fully fit, we've played him now. And forget all of that, just based on how Liverpool play, there's a lot of running and them thing there. Has he stressed out this injury further? Lo and behold, we're here. I think that's where the medical team, Arteta, and maybe the player are all showing their naivety. He said, so today will be the day where we see where everybody's at and look at who is available tomorrow. This was obviously done yesterday. So if Odegaard is fit, they already know. On Granit Xhaka, Emil Smith-Rowe and Bukayo Saka, he said, today is the day when they are going to be fully training with the team. We'll see how they feel. And they've all taken part in training. You know, I don't want to go over the Torreira stuff. I'm going to skip that out. But, you know, our thoughts are with Torreira, and Arteta's spoken about him. And it's nice to see he's obviously reached out to him. Again, he's spoken on the finances, potentially going to Boca and the rest of it. I can't lie. I have great sympathy for Lucas Torreira, but I'm quite tired of speaking at lengths about him. So respectfully to his situation and to you guys, people, I'm going to skip that one out. I have no time or interest in speaking about it anymore. On Willian's first season and how he thinks about it, he said, I think we can reach a higher performance level because his potential is so big. Now, I don't think he means potential like a Saka thing. I think he means that he can do more to the team. So I think maybe people are going to see what he's saying and get excited. But he said he needs the contribution to the team and the team to be stable in order to provide what he needs to express himself on the pitch. I'm sorry, Arteta, but that is something you need to fix. The way you've put that is almost like it's down to other people. He said it's true that in recent weeks we've seen a much better version of him, and his contribution when playing has been really positive. So it's going to be crucial, his form, for the performance of the team in the last 2 months. And, you know, to be fair with you, we're now in the last 2 months of the season, like you said. You know, let's be fair to him. He started doing it in March. You know, we've waited until March. And again, it's not like Willian is a young player. It's not like he is a foreign player, but not foreign in the sense of he's fresh to the league. I can't lie, it doesn't mean anything. And when I look at, you know, I think the players are to blame for this season, but Arteta, there's a lot of things you're gonna have to look for. You know, how much did your reluctance to play anyone but Willian? You know, how much did that contribute to a negative effect? How much did playing him as a left wing, right wing, 10, 9, crossing the ball? How much did this affect us? Do you get it, people? It's a bit of a problem. How much was your reluctance to bring in a number 10 to replace Ozil, with it being Odegaard, or the emergence of the reluctance to play Smith-Rowe? Where could we be? Coulda, woulda, shouldas. They're not facts, but these are all things. And like I said, the vast majority of the blame for me is with these players, because a lot of them have been here for time, but you cannot absolve Arteta of any blame. And the variables he's had to control this season, he hasn't done well enough, in my opinion. He was then asked on how we'll change how we build attacks without Tierney. We know Tierney just in terms of ability. We're very left-hand centric. We know the mentality. We've lost a lot. For me, you've got to play Bukayo Saka there. Skipping a bit ahead, he said, on whether he considers using Bukayo there or if he worries it can unbalance other areas in the team. It shouldn't. I'm not being funny. Saka, for me, every day of the week should be playing on the left or the right. He can be used as a left back, and he can give us balance there. I'm not being funny, but you've got Pepe, you've got Martinelli, you've got Aubameyang, you've got Lacazette. F the form. There should not be an imbalance. The only imbalance there is in our defense and in our midfield. The one bit we should be seeing full potential should be our front three, four, including obviously the 10 behind them. I don't think we should, because if Bukayo Saka's playing left back, he'll have David Luiz and Xhaka talking to him, Xhaka occupying that space to allow Saka to go forward, maybe even connect with Aubameyang if he's left wing, or Martinelli like we've seen previously. So it shouldn't unbalance the team at all, really and truly. It really shouldn't. You agree with a back three? I think we have to play a back three with Luiz out. Personally, I don't. I'm happy to see the back of it. I don't feel we have enough players to play the back three the way I want to play it, but I understand why you'd say that. So yeah, he said that's the reality. You have to change something, and you have to find a different way of attacking. At the same time, the structure when you are defending and in transitional moments has to be stable, and has to be done by players that are comfortable doing that. We know that position was a weakness around the squad because we didn't have anybody to replace Tierney, and we have to find different solutions. We knew that position was a weakness around the squad. We knew that position was a weakness around the squad. We knew that position was a weakness around the squad. That tells you everything. You knew it. Anytime there's a chance of something, you can't chance things. You really can't. And like I said, the club have not helped themselves. Again, I'm not screaming we shouldn't have you know, let Maitland-Niles go or Kolasinac and things like that. But if you don't bring someone in, you're paying for it. And again, in isolated incidences, you can rely on a XHAKA, I guess, to do a job at left back, pull Cedric over at left back and talk about adaptability. But we're talking the best part of a month now. And, you know, if we're going through to the Europa League, hopefully the latter stages, that as well. So again, that's a big reliance for me to rely on Cedric at left back, shoehorned at left back for the best part of a month. Obviously, Bukayo Saka on the best of days is overworked and overplayed. So again, everyone touch some wood, pray, do what you need to do. But if a madness happens to Saka or Cedric, then we're really in some problems. And I'll be real with you. I'm a big academy man. I don't think there is an academy left back right now that I can wholeheartedly throw my heart on and say, damn, like I know people are talking about Joe Lopez. Again, I would back him to get chances. I would love him to, but I just don't think he's quite good enough off the ball. I don't think he offers enough on the ball. I don't think physically he's ready and he will be able to make a significant impact or do that job right now. He might be able to do it in the future. Right now, on the 8th of April, this is what I believe in relation to Joe Lopez. So yeah, he was then asked on why we didn't sign anybody in January. He said we could not do anything in that window. You could have got someone on loan. We decided to let Kolasinac on loan as well. So that's the decision we made. So again, Arteta, you have to lie with it. That's telling me you've got confidence in Cedric's ability to cover there and Saka. So if anything goes wrong, that's who I'm looking at. On whether we'll go all out if we play like we did against, on whether we'll go out if we play like we did against Liverpool. Yes, we will. He said, I don't want to think that we're going to play the way we did. Every game is completely different. And I want to think that we can play at the level that we played against other opponents, this year. Then we'll have a great chance to be in the next round. On whether he pulls his hair out at the sudden fluctuations in performance, they're not sudden. These have been happening all season. You know, these false images have been there all season. Like, this hasn't been here. You know, this was the same form and the same way we was carrying on when we beat Chelsea, Brighton and West Brom. It's just the narrative was 3 Arsenal victories. So we're back now, and Smith Rowe's emergence in December, and people were saying we can get top 4, and there's all these, all these tables coming out, all these tables coming out in thingy about Arsenal since January, since December. This is why I say we're a half and half team. We do 3 good games, 10 bad games, 10 good games. We don't really know where we're at in the team. So I wouldn't say it's sudden fluctuations. There's been times we've even won and we've got away with it. Times we've drawn, and the same way we're playing, we're just freestyling it. So yeah, man, it's going to happen, Arteta, again and again. And to be honest with you, I'm very disappointed about this sudden business. You know, Arteta's got bullish talk, but again, this is just going to fall on deaf ears because we've said this again and again. So yeah, people, scrolling down, on criticism from Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher. And Jamie Carragher is out there criticizing Kylian Mbappe and said he's never done it on the big stage. He's won the bloody World Cup and he's been doing it in the Champions League since his Monaco days, mate. This is what happens when you allow these pundits of a full sense of security, and like everybody, they don't check their opinions, you know. Managers get criticized, players get criticized, they criticize refs. Who holds these pundits to account? Nobody. You know, I don't mind listening to Gary Neville, but Jamie Carragher is starting to do my head in with this self-righteous bullshit that he keeps coming out with, pardon my language. And it's right, no response, because really and truly, even though Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville are not necessarily wrong, it doesn't make sense Arteta replying. It doesn't make sense Arteta replying to him. It doesn't. What have you said? You'd rather Cedric at left back than Saka? I don't, because it's going to kill the balance. Cedric is not an out-and-out left footer. He's going to be quite narrow. And like you've seen, he's very hit and miss. I'd rather Saka there. He's more of a natural, you know. Obviously, defensively, we don't really know Saka's true level, but I'd rather Saka there. But fair play, you know. And like you said, there's no point responding to them because they don't, at the end of the day, you need to dedicate your energy to Arsenal Football Club. And at the end of the day, the players should feel sick. The manager shouldn't say anything. Or if you need nothing more in terms of motivation, listen to Jamie Carragher, listen to Gary Neville, listen to Petit. We're going to get onto Paul Merson because I'm not happy with him. We're going to get onto him in a bit. That's all you need to do. He said, I think we have to respect every opinion. And when there's criticism coming after the way we played against Liverpool, we have to take it on the chin because it's fully deserved for the way that we played. Facts. It's no time to respond. It's time to talk on the pitch and show what we can do. When we are at full gas, that is a lot. bro, the talking on the pitch, it should have happened a long time ago, and exactly true. He said on whether Aubameyang has to start playing better. I think the whole team and myself have to put in better performances than we did against Liverpool, that's for sure. On whether he thinks we'll progress to the next round, we have a really difficult opponent. They're unbeaten in a hot second. They press well, and they've got some good wingers. You're factually correct, Arteta. He said, if you see how they came into this position, they completely merit that. They've done it in a really specific way and a really efficient way, and it will be a challenge, that's for sure. On whether the back three is left behind or he'll consider it again. He said the team has to have flexibility to adjust when it's needed. That's what I believe. We should be able to play a back three and play it well. Sometimes because of what the opposition is doing, and sometimes just to adapt to the quality of the players we have. Sometimes just because the opponent cannot just predict what we're going to do. So there are different ways of doing that, and we have to be flexible. I'm not going to read that again on Gary Nev. And if he's seen the right reaction in training, yeah, I mean, we always hear players are playing well, playing well in training and things. I don't care about training. Like, you need to show it when you need to make sure you're putting in the work when the cameras are off. So when the camera's on, I'm seeing showtime. Instead, I hear you do well in training. Arsenal always come out with the clips, but when I see what you're doing on the football field and I see that it's identical, near enough mistakes, you're not arresting your issue. So you're not learning, or if you are trying to learn, you're learning in an ineffective way, or the practices that the manager is trying to preach to you isn't working. Either way, there's an issue. Please make sure you run up them likes, people. Please make sure you run up them likes, people. He's real, right, man. Gary, it's more Jamie Carragher. The thing I don't like about Gary Nev, when it's other managers, and he's not wrong, he can go in depth. When it comes to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's bare vague stuff, bare vague, and I don't really like that. And for me, the only thing that kills me is Gary Neville's evident bias when he's chatting. And Arteta's he's not going to criticize the players right now. He's not going to, all season, he hasn't hung them out to dry. He's not going to start now. He said, I cannot criticize the work rate or the ethic of my players. I've never done it. Whether we are more efficient or not, whether we win enough duels or not, it's not about they don't want to run or they don't want to try. There are areas where we have limitations. There are areas where we're inconsistent, but there are areas where we can do really, really well. My demand is just to be hitting those goals and then to achieve our best level every single day, which collectively we're not, whether it's in training or in a football game. And in the last 2 days, again, I've seen that. I didn't see anything different. That's why it was a big shock to the system what happened against Liverpool, because of the training that we showed since December, but it's probably part of the journey. Sometimes a punch or a slap in the face is a good thing to get back to reality. And to be fair, how many times have you said that, Arteta? This just tells me that these players are getting complacent, where every day you need to attack it like you've achieved nothing. These players are pretenders. It's upsetting to say, but it's fully fact. On the areas the players need to improve in, again, going back to the performance the other day, it's every single area. We have to do much better. I cannot discuss here the specific things that we need to do better. We need to pick up a result, pick up the best possible performance, because that's going to allow us to get the result what we want. That's all I'm interested in the next 6 or 7 weeks, and you've said all of that. On Prague, he said they are a really strong side. They've been unbeaten in the league. You can see how they have the ball. I think in the last few years, competing at the highest level, they've always been in the game and made it really difficult. They're really competitive, brave, very direct and incisive, and a team that can cause you problems throughout the game. So rise to this challenge. Among everything else, I want blood today. I want clamps. I want blood. I want war because of what happened to Glenn Kamara. I'm not going to lie. It's more than a football game for me. It's something else, innit? I'm not one that gets excited and emotional. I'll be, you know what? A lot of these players will be written off more so than they already are if we do not annihilate this team. I want blood. And if you can't be up for this game, especially with the racism and that, it's a myth. He said they never give up. They have a top attitude all the time, and that's why they beat teams, because they're a good side. They've beat Leicester and they beat Rangers, so take them seriously. He's he's not going to speak in specifics about players that caught his eyes. The difference between Prague and the opponents this season, again, it's irrelevant. Every team is here on merit, folks. So it firmly is what it is in that regards. Is there any other news? I don't know what William's been talking about here, people, but let's see. William has admitted that he's scared to check his phone after games due to the level of abuse he receives on social media. You know, abuse isn't fine. It isn't happy at all, but I'm not going to read you lot. I'm not going to read that out for you lot. So it is what it is in that regards, folks. What are you lot saying? Please let me know your opinions. How are you lot feeling? So that was from 0-0 to 23-40. All or nothing. Chat. You know, it is what it is in that regards. Big up everybody locked in. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, people. It's always appreciative each and every time. What are you guys saying? We're at 86 likes, people. That means 100 of you have not done your job. Come on, man. You're doing the guy dirty, man. Doing the guy dirty. What are you lot saying in the comments? Let me scroll up a bit. You know, that was a very lengthy read. What have you said? If Ceballos and or Bellerin start Arsenal, that loss or at least makes it a hell of a lot more likely. To be fair with you, I think there's a good chance you could see Bellerin right back, Chambers centre half, and probably Cedric going over to left back. I don't think he's, you know, if Saka is, you know, I want Saka to play on the wing, so I'm prepared to somewhat concede Cedric left wing, but for set left back. But I just feel, I think you can get away with it against a Sheffield. I think today we need our best attackers, and I think Saka is a better natural option. And you know, with Saka left back, that allows you to bring in a Martinelli or Pepe or even a Willian that I don't want to happen or something that's there. Apparently they haven't, but they haven't lost in a single year. They've taken out Leicester and Rangers. You know, there's an upset, but I'm not being funny. You know, this is a stage in the competition. You'd expect to play teams that have records like such. You'd expect that. You know, every team is there on merit. We need to stand up to be counted. Forget all of the stats. You know, if we hold ourselves accountable and do what we need to do, the result will take care of itself. Kill off the game. We all know. We've been saying the same things in every tournament. You know, every game. Love for the 79p, my bro. Kieran has said, I know it looks set up for an Arsenal United final, does it? But who do you think is more likely to mess up? Psh, both teams, man. Both teams are equally as likely, man. You know, I think Arsenal are extremely bottlers, and I think United have an issue to do that, man. My guy Deluded, hope you have a good day. I hope you do as well, my guy. Just a fan is here. Like he said, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're running up the likes and things like that. Some of these pundits waffle, man. He's allowed their opinions, you know. For you can't, the opinion's irrelevant. I just don't like the wishy-washy sort of thing. Like if you're allowed to say at one time, for example, I believe in Aubameyang, and in hindsight, I think it weren't a good option to give him a new deal. But you can't be one of the biggest. For me, I find it a lack of integrity when somebody is leading the charges, saying things like, "No, Arsenal have to assign Aubameyang," and then you're saying it's another Ozil situation. You know, Arsenal shouldn't have given him a new deal. It's a bit hypocritical. For me, it means you stand for nothing, so you fall for everything. And also with these pundits, rightly or wrongly, they're seen as a position of knowledge. You know, if Paul Merson says the sky is purple, there's a small minority that are going to believe him in that regards. You know, it is what it is. I don't watch them training clips no more. I don't care about training. Obviously, I do, but clearly, you man are not doing what you need to do in training because the same effery is happening. Both of them need to execute a good game plan, Jay. 100% right, man. 100% right. All our eggs are firmly in the Europa League basket, and it's like all them eggs are going to crack if we don't pattern up, man. You know, and based on how we've been playing, I don't know what's going to happen. It's down to them. It's down to them. If they want the result, they go and do this thing, man. Yogo has said, DG, why don't you join AFTV? You're a good pundit. Your opponent will be important for your opinion. Sorry, will be important for the fans, bro. Shout Robbie in it. Yeah, it's nothing to do with me. It's not my channel. Robbie calls, I'll listen. Shout out big man Robbie. You know, Robbie's a cool guy, but no one's dinging my phone, innit? I mean, we're supposed to have a show. It was on, I remember a couple of years ago, Robbie said the EG show soon landing. You saw on the socials, but you know, it is what it is. Shout out to Robbie, man. Someone I have a lot of admiration for, man. What a name. I'm just going to call you Inter. You've said, you already know the excuse if we get knocked out. They knocked out Leicester and Rangers. We didn't have Tierney and Louise. I'm not being funny, but with all due respect to Slavia, bro, regardless, there should be enough quality in that team, like to go and pump them really and truly. You know, it's like what my man said. This, I think the we are Arsenal chat is dead. You know, it's dead now. But you know, I don't care what happened with the Rangers and Leicester game either. You know, for me, you recognize the threat that Slavia have. You treat them like Barcelona 2011, and you relish it. You know, you make sure you're prepared to go into battle. You know, when you go to war, you don't know if you're coming back to see your family. You might dead. But you need that bravery. You know, these players need to walk alone. Arteta can give the fighting talk. It's down to these players because if I'm Arteta, I think Arteta is getting into that Wenger category now of defending, man, because these players, I don't think they're on it. Because for me, if I knew I was playing crap in this Arsenal team and I'm seeing my manager still gas us up about how we're training, still take some bullets for us, I'm making sure as hell I put in a performance today, people. And too often than not, we've been in these situations where they haven't. So it is what it is. Where do we go if we get knocked out of Europa? Is it time for Arteta to go? I don't think he's going to get sacked if he gets knocked out of Europa. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you get knocked out of the Europa, there's not really a style of play. There's not really a single player he's really improved like that. There's still not really any confirmation over the playing style. Somehow we've got worse from last season on, and he's made mistakes, as much as I think the players are poor and things, these are sackable offences, but I don't think he's going to get sacked. He never had a pre-season. He finally got a creative man in January. There's a lot of luxuries he's going to get to hide behind and things like that. And even if you sack him, what's going to change, man? I'm not saying that to keep him or sack him, but what's going to change, bro? The mentality has to change. You can get Pep Guardiola in this team. Pep Guardiola could manage Arsenal. And he's not going to take it nowhere. Yeah, he probably install a way of playing and everything's there, but we're not going to go anywhere. Why? Because you look left, you look right. You don't know if Edu's serious. You don't know if Kroenke's serious. Barcelona was serious. Man City was serious. Klopp at Liverpool, obviously they've not invested, but they reinvested the Coutinho money well. People are being serious. We're not the same. So it doesn't matter if you grab Michelin Tat, if you grab these managers and these advisors, if you're not serious about certain things, it's dead. It's really dead. It's crazy, man. Leah said, I agree, DG, that it's on Arteta's head if our left back tonight gets torn apart. I understand Kolasinac isn't good enough, but he gave us a fullback option. It is true. It is true. And it's funny how life works out, because I wasn't against him going out on loan and I wasn't making up noise until this week over the left back. But we all said it then. As an Arsenal fan, you don't want to take these chances. Is there an Arsenal member of the Arteta's coaching staff who's young like him and can do a little job at left back? Might have to register them still. Josh, I'm not too sure, because because when Bellerin plays there, Bellerin's not even comfortable on his right hand side going forward or anything. So he put him on the left hand side. When he stifles the play, it's poor. Also, you got to remember, Cedric can do the job, but I just think when playing out from the back, Saka is going to help us progress more. There's going to be, not that there is any balance, but there's going to be less of a fallout in the balance if we go with Saka left back. I think it is going to be Cedric, but it is what it is. To be fair with you, I might want to throw Saka on the left wing if Cedric plays left back, just to support him and whatnot and them thing there. Because again, Cedric is a decent at left back, but he's a right footer. I think you've got to get XHAKA to a degree and Saka to protect him and kind of help him. Do you see Martinelli as a future striker, DG? I do. I see him as Alexis Sanchez, able to play on the left, able to play on the right, able to play in that 9 role. I see him as a striker. Apparently, he likes to play left wing. That was a bit like Alexis. It's just down to him, and it's down to us to give man time to develop, man. It's down to develop. I wouldn't play a back 5. I don't think they should, but we'll see, man. For me, I'm a fan of the back 5, back 3, whatever you want to call it. I just feel with us, because we ain't got a style of play, it's going to be dead. It's going to be absolutely dead. It's not going to make sense. You got Graham. Shout out to Robbie, man. Like, no, he wouldn't want to collab and whatnot, man. Robbie's a very brilliant guy, man. Very cool guy. Like, that's one guy I've got nothing but admiration for. He's a very cool guy. Like, he's give man a lot of advice and things. But yeah, man, I have to build my own thing, man. Wouldn't mind being on it a bit more, but you have to call the guy, innit? Brilliant channel, this. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Healing generation. DG, trust you're doing good. I'm doing good. Talk to me come 10 p.m. tonight. I might say something different, but I'm doing good, man. I got my life. I got my spirit. Big up the Portuguese Gooners, them as well. Big up everybody locked in, people, wherever you are and however you're watching. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, man. What's Graham said? Big up, Graham. I ain't seen you in a minute. Always look out for you. What have you said? Last 8 games in the Premier League are more crucial than this Europa League nonsense. I just want to see the attitude of the players. Oh, Graham, I'm going to need you to be a bit more specific, my guy, because I'm with you. I'm with you. 100% I'm with you, but I disagree. Like, I still think, for me, I agree, because I've been saying it, away from trying to get top 4. I'm not a fan of this writing off the league thing and stuff, because, there's, like you said, there's 8 games to play. I've heard us saying that when there's been 10 games. I'm not being funny, but what are you going to do for the next 10 weeks or whatever then? Just, is this a holiday camp thing? Is this 5-a-side? It's all about basic respect. For me, it's all about building blocks. Okay, top 4 might be gone and all of these things, but can you show me you can put a little bit of consistency together, building blocks for next season? And like you said, and like I said, and I'm sure you agree, it's just about basic respect, just finish as high as you can. Top 4 might be gone, but if you can finish, you finished 7th last year, can you finish 6th? That's progress, I guess. Somehow you've managed to get worse. It's crazy, man. Ravia said, Slavia will rile us up. I see an Arsenal red followed by an L. Sorry for the negativity. Dead that, man. Let's just go out and smash them in, man. I'm trying to have some positivity. I can't see us winning, my guy. Big up yourself, but I can't see us winning in the sense of I believe we have it to do it, but I just don't know, innit? I'm at the stage now. Arsenal have to show me something in the first 10 minutes for me to have faith, like they did against Spurs, equally in the first 10 minutes against Liverpool. Beyond the obvious, I was away. I'm at the stage now, these players need to show me. I can't, us fans been doing it, been saying top four, been saying this, been saying that, and the players, they give us a little false image and whatnot, and we've been doing it, you know. Started the season, fans wetting their pants against a crap Fulham team at the time, you know, late winner against West Ham, turning it around in the second half against Sheffield United. People were just like, oh, we're playing, we've got 3 games on the trot. Those 3 games, the same things are prevalent here, you know, and they've been prevalent. This is what I mean by people just live game to game. They don't look at the game whether we've won, lost, or drawn, speak about it. And you've heard things like Arsenal are back, Arsenal are getting top 4, Arsenal are getting relegated. We're the only team that's going to get relegated, win Europa League, and get top 4 in the same season. It's a Mazzolini, absolute Mazza. We need money, but we need intention. We need necessary invention. We need mentality from the top, because as much as I think we need money, and I agree, Levy, yeah, we've been having money, yeah. I know we can talk about Kroenke, and I agree, but at the end of the day, you've somehow managed to find 72 million for Pepe. Again, I'm not being harsh, but you found that for Pepe. You know, Partey for me is money well spent. But if we just look at the injury thing and we look at it on a devil's advocate thing, in terms of durability, has it been value? Tierney's a fantastic player, but the same logic. Has he been value? You get it. Pepe, Lacazette, Granit Xhaka, you know, people like Runarsson, Ceballos twice on loan. Do you get it? I'm not being negative. I'm just saying there's been money being involved. And Torreira, instant in hindsight, you know, was the mentality ever there? I'm not saying I'm obviously I'm being a bit harsh on some more than others, but my point is it's not Kroenke spending that money. We've spent that money and there's been mixed results and things like that. Half the time we're signing man then trying to get rid of them. And this is what I mean. And what you lot said earlier and what I said yesterday, in a sense of we're not going to change overnight. I just care about direction. I see no little encouraging signs. Like I always say, Rome wasn't built in a day, but if I go past the building, the building site, and I see some cranes, I see some scaffolding, I see some laborers, all right, it's not built, but I can see some building signs. I don't see that. So when you don't have a manager that wants to, an owner that really wants to win, a manager that's going to learn on the job and left to his own right or wrong device, is the same for Edu. It's poor. We're trying to chase a change of culture that's been here for years with the contracts, with the mismanagement, with the ultimate I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. But we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. If we win Europa League, do you think it papers over the cracks? I feel them vibes. It depends what you mean about paper over the cracks. I would say yes. I would say no. I would say no for people like you and Graham and Omar and everyone else in the chat, because remember, Europa FA Cup, we was all saying, I hope this provides a little platform to build, in that, you know, you buy into the manager, you have accountability yourself, you might be able to do things. Instead, I personally think people collectively at this club thought we've returned to a level sooner than we have. I think they thought, you know, many aspects in terms of defending and concentration and the rest, we've ripped them wrongs, where as great as the FA Cup was, you know, it was a small sample size, 4 or 5 games. Also, we was motivated with underdogs. There was that fearless approach. It's a small sample size. That's what Arsenal's on. It's the same way they'll win 3 games in a row and these things like that. So I would say it papers over the cracks because it gets Europe. I think that's what the board was happy about with last year's European qualification. It gets Europe. Not gonna lie, scumbags us into the Champions League. I'm gonna be over the moon with it, because I haven't seen my team win a Europa trophy. We're back in the Champions League, whether we're serious about it or not. Hopefully that means we get more money. Hopefully that means we get players, and maybe the club would sit there and say, okay, cool, we winged it this year. Let's make sure that it's not an accident we get top 4 or whatever, well, Champions League via whatever. Because for me, I want to win trophies in it, but I'd rather qualify for Europe via the top 4 than winning the Europa League. And I know that doesn't make sense, but for me, it's like there's no hiding place. A 38-game period, you can't lie to people, you know. In May, people can sit here and say, oh, but December this, but January this, but if we beat that, but if we beat this, if we did this, but we did that, you know, there's no hiding place. You don't get where you get, you know, the league does not lie. Not that they're getting through to these cups lie, but the league doesn't lie. I know there's, you know, United got second once when they didn't really deserve it once upon a time. I say not deserving it. They did, because they finished second and exploited mistakes, but you can't hide. 38 games, there's no hiding place. There's no, you know, there's no false image. You've got to show it from August till May. And this is the period that you've shown, you know, you've seen Arsenal can't do this thing in that regards, man. I'd rather for the trophy's sake, but you know, I'd rather for me, I'd have more faith if we was to qualify via Europe, because I mean via the top four, because it shows me more consistency. You would show me over a longer period that you're certified, man. That's just me, anyways, man. Hopefully, man. We don't deserve, bro. We don't deserve Premier League football based on how we've been playing, fam. Bless up all my Jamaican ones. You said, did you see Petit's comments about our club? What's your take on it? Can't really disagree with everything he said. I think his second comments were a bit harsh, but what he said in terms of it being a retreat and everything else, it's what fans see in it, and it's down to these players. If they want to prove us wrong, show us something. But you know, you can't disagree with what Petit's saying, and that's why, you know, why do you think you never see a Petit, you never see a Petit, who else who is always to a Jens Lehmann this week as well? You never see them with the club, because again, the club only want to rock with you when you're agreeing with it and you're happy and go lucky and you're finding positives where you're not. When there's real guys talking real stuff, you get rubbed out. Look at, was it Perry Groves? I could be wrong. Who was it that used to do the reviews of Arsenal? They got rubbed out ever since they started talking the realness. They got rubbed out. You know, it's a dictatorship. It's, I was about to say a certain nation, but then I'll get cancelled. It's a dictatorship, isn't it? It's a dictatorship, man. It is a bit of a madness. And this, for me, it's just the league doesn't hire, man. Man said Premier League. Bro, based on how we're playing, bro, we don't deserve Premier League football, fam. I can't sit here and lie, bro. You know, we are 10th, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, the players have got to win it. They've got to try to win it, you know. It doesn't, just because I don't think we're going to win Europa League, doesn't mean we should give up. Big up Karim. Big up DG. Me and my wife always watch you. Shout out to wifey as well. Shout out to you, Karim. It sounds weird to say shout out your wifey, but you know what I mean in it. Shout out to you, my guy. Shout out to your woman as well. Big up everybody supporting the thing. I appreciate that each and every time. Please make sure we're hitting the like buttons, people. There's 335 of you in here. Let's see if the same energy is there. We're at 138 likes. Come on, people, man. You lot are acting. You know, I don't think he's always spot on. Nobody can always be spot on, but you know, he has half a chance. Oh, T, where's your comment gone? Oh, T, it snakes you. Sorry, T. What's going on there? Petit is always spot on. Oh, T, you had a good comment, but it's been lost. You said thoughts on seeing Simmer play tonight. We're linked with in January. Obviously, that's what I want to see what he's on. Now, I've seen bits and pieces against Rangers and against Leicester. I think he's a good player. You know, he's a good player. He's good 1v1. You know, I hope he gets out of that situation being a Senegalese international. I wonder how he feels seeing his teammates be racist and things like that. So I hope he can get out of the situation, but he's a decent player and I'm sure there's going to be more eyes on him, really and truly, man. This is it as well. You know, this is it. I love Ian Wright, but Ian Wright's found the balance of criticizing Arsenal to the point where it's not quite too much. Like Ian Wright knows how to do it, innit? He's like, he's critical, but he's not like, you can't let man be on the YouTube channel and things like that. And then, yeah, man, I think he just finds the right balance and things like that, man. We got Margaret in the building as well. Shout out to you. What's your lineup for tonight? You're going to have to go for the last live stream. I covered it there. I can't remember exactly what it was, but off the top of my head, assuming everybody is fit, Leno in goal. You know what? Leno in goal. I know this is probably a risk, but this is what I believe to just try a thing, you know. Leno in goal. Fuck it. Leno in goal. You know, I'm going to change it up. Leno in goal. Callum Chambers and Gabriel centre halves. Left back XHAKA. Right back Cedric. Centre midfield Granit Xhaka, Partey. You know, if Odegaard's fit, then Odegaard. Obviously, if Odegaard isn't fit, then Smith Rowe will be in the 10. On the flanks, you know, I think you got to try something in it. So I'd go with, let's just assume Odegaard's out. Smith Rowe in the 10. I'd go with probably Martinelli on the left, Pepe on the right, and I'll give it Lacazette through the middle. Miguel Aziz deserves it, man. You know, he's been working very hard. I think in the next year to 18 months, you'll get more opportunities. He's got a lot to improve on before he's ready to play week in, week out in the Premier League, or even be more consistently involved in the match day squads. But he's really developing. Like I'd say, he's really doing what I say in midfield, doing things in less touches. I feel at under 23s level, he's been playing in that sort of 6-number position, and I think that's helping him, you know, always be a bit more proactive and rely less so on your individual ability. So I think he's done well. Who's your top centre mid target for the summer? I'm not prepared to give up on AUBA. I would say, I can't say his name, but is it Cooper Myers? You know, I've done a video on him. I can't say his name, but them ones there, man. He should be dropped. He should be. Just think Aubameyang. I mean, Lacazette is the better choice for me right now at this moment in time. That's just me personally. I've already spoken about this. I don't feel he's ready for it right now. Would love Basuma, but you got to spend peas in it. Like, it's half of these players, Aouar, Buendia, you know, I'm sure you all saw Norwich 7, Huddersfield 0. And Buendia was just having a masterclass. I would love Buendia, would love Aouar, would love hella these guys. Would not mind Kessié at all. But all of these guys, you know, Cooper Myers, I can't say his name, but my man's helping me out. All of these guys need thingy, man. All of these guys, you need the bands. You need the bands. Bro, our season's over already, but yeah, shout out to you. I mean, tell United, well, we took 4 points off United this season, so yeah, man, tell them come get their red back, man. I don't need some in the club. That's how I feel with them. Locatelli done a lot since he's left AC Milan. I really like him, but again, all these man cost peas. They cost peas. Trust me, he's a hero for us IC3s. I do think, listen, I love Ian Wright, but I do think sometimes he twerks for the media a bit. He's on the Lenny Henry thing sometimes. But he's manned them, though. He remembers his roots. Let's not get it twisted. I also want to speak about Paul Merson, because it's not that I don't disagree. I don't agree with what he's saying, people. But, you know, like you said here, he believes Aubameyang should stay at Arsenal. The grass isn't always greener. You know, it's always easier to move to another club. You know, I'm going to get back to this one, but I don't like flip-flopping. You know, he said, you know, as you lot know, Aubameyang's form is poor. He hasn't bagged in the last 5 games. We all know Aubameyang only brings goals to the party, but I don't agree with what a lot he's saying, because again, you can criticize his attitude, but you know, when did this logic that Aubameyang isn't working hard come from? You know, where did this logic that he isn't working hard? Like, again, Aubameyang is playing poor. He does look like he's moaning, but when he's doing them slide tackles against West Ham, or even in the build up to Liverpool's first goal, where is he? He's basically playing as a left back. I'm just talking about false narratives. That's all I care about. False narratives. Aubameyang's playing poor. He looks a shadow of his former self. All of these things are right, but I don't like false narratives. I really don't. And I'm very careful of this lazy chat, this attitude bullshit, because when he's playing left back and running himself into the ground, yes, last year, it's all commendable and things like that. Nothing's changed apart from the form, and now his attitude's dropped. I'm just not a fan of these sort of things. It's crazy. I don't like the nonsense. Like, if Aubameyang is playing poor, he's playing poor for the wrong, you know, say that he's playing poor for the wrong reasons. Like I said, a lot of what Per Merson has said here, I don't disagree with it. I just don't like false narratives for any player, even footballers I don't rate. You know, and I've even stuck up for Willian this season. There's been times man are saying, you know, man are saying Willian, we've lost games and people are attacking Willian. And do I think Willian's good enough for this football club? Of course not. But there's been times it's not been a Willian or a XHAKA or a Bellerin thing to moan at them about. It's been other people. And that's where in short, I don't like agendas, people. I don't like agendas. You know, I don't like them. You know, I agree with what a lot he said, but I have a lot of problems, and we'll get into it. He said, it was also another difficult night for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I've always said, and I stick by it, unless he scores a goal, he's not bringing much to the party, and he never has. I agree with that. We don't play to Aubameyang's strengths and feed him endless balls over the top and things. So Aubameyang's one of those players. You've got to double down on really not use him at all. And when his form's like this, he needs to be out of the team. Him being a good goal scorer is irrelevant. He's not putting the ball in the back of the net. I definitely agree. You know, it is what it is. He said he's an out-and-out goal scorer who plays out wide. We got to remember, you know, Aubameyang has made a bit of a career playing off that wide left. Maybe we need to adapt to him of age, and maybe there's a bit of running him into the ground, but it is what it is. He said he's an out-and-out goal scorer who plays out wide, and when you play out wide as a footballer, you're working on scraps, which is true. You either get the ball so many times you get sick of it, or you never see the ball at all, and he's a goal scorer. He's a bit like Mesut Ozil without the goals. He's not going to run back and do 50-50 tackles or chase the ball back and get it back for his side. That's where I have a problem, because that is not true. Aubameyang does do that. Go and check. I wish I could show you it, because I can't, copyrighting that. But the metrics in terms of movement, in terms of distance covered, are telling me what my eyes are confirming. Aubameyang is just playing poor. You know, he's moaning at times. He's not clinical in front of goal. You know, he's not as involved, but laziness isn't one of them. Like, it's not one of them. It's not. Goals are what he brings to the party. And at the end of the day, it's the hardest thing to do. But when you're a captain of Arsenal Football Club, which is a big thing, you have to do a bit more. And my thing for Aubameyang would be, it's like where people say, oh, he doesn't get service or Pepe this or whatever. I hear a lot of that, but sometimes you've got to force the issue. My problem is I don't think he forces the issue enough. I don't think Aubameyang forces the issue. I don't think he's being a bit more demanding on his teammates and things. So I don't necessarily disagree with everything. He said his confidence is well and truly shot, but he's a goal scorer. And in a big match against Slavia Prague, he could end up on the far post and score. That's what he could do for Arsenal, which is a fact, people, you know. And even just looking at the numbers, people, shots on target is down, goals are down, shot accuracy is actually down, expected goals naturally is down. He's actually taking more people on, and that's probably as a result of playing left wing. So maybe my point is being, you know, like I said, Aubameyang's got to take hella thingy, people. Aubameyang's been playing poor, and Aubameyang has to take responsibility for himself, people. But at the same time, I have a problem with Arsenal because when you look at it, you know, you see Aubameyang, he's first, as much as he runs about and he keeps himself fit, you have to attribute his game is going to change. And I just feel at this age with Aubameyang, playing him left wing, right wing, and then up front, you know, it's not relevant. We need to either double down on what he gives us in goals or make him a super sub. And when we've signed a new deal, this is where it goes in for me not being proactive about these sort of individuals, because the minute Aubameyang signed a new deal, the scouting, and I hope it has, the scouting has to happen for the next striker. Can you get someone that brings goals with Aubameyang but has the hold-up play of Lacazette? Easier said than done. Also, you've got to know how you're using Aubameyang. Aubameyang is 31. If we take Aubameyang, David Luiz, Willian, you know, just because they're key players, you've got to know exactly how you're using these players for the next year or two, because what we do in the next year or two is going to set us up financially if we get Europe, and it's going to set up the platform for the long termers, the Tierney's, the Sakas, the Martinellis, really and truly. You know, if it keeps carrying on like that, they're probably not going to be here, people. But it is what it is in that regards. Big up the moderators. You know, I haven't even seen what somebody said, so someone must have been chatting-ish. Big up the moderators and the members, them. But as you lot can see, Aubameyang is 31 now, but when he came over, you thought he was absolutely lightning. However, there's one thing you're assured of in life: the older you get, the slower you get. That's true. And we've never doubled down on Aubameyang. Really, I'll go as far as to say Aubameyang's been overperforming for years. This has been due. This season has been due, you know. It's nothing short of a miracle playing left wing and these things and not playing to his strengths that he's been scoring goals. But he's due this. Arguably, it's come at the wrong time because he signed a new deal and we're worse than we are. Like I said, there's a lot of problems for Aubameyang. You know, I'm not too sure you can attribute a haircut really and truly to his mentality. Okay, I mean, that's a bit retarded, but okay, fair play. You know, come on now. It's a bit, you're them people there that say Pogba's a bad character because he's got blonde hair, despite the fact he doesn't drink alcohol. Come on now, man. It's moving mad, man. Balogun, I love Balogun, but Balogun ain't showed nothing right now. You know, there's a lot of hype around Balogun and he hasn't given nothing. Balogun might go on to be a striker. I believe he can be, which is a Premier League striker. He might go off to be a dud, but it's crazy, man. He's not a world-class player. You lot killed me when I said when he's not a world-class player once upon a time. Kevin, apologies, but I can say what the backside I want on my channel, people. You know, if I think it was that, I think it was that. I'm going to double down on it. I said it with my chest. Like, simple as that. And this scares me, people. Pay close attention to these last paragraphs, people. Let me assure they're actually the last paragraphs. Well, yeah, pay attention to this, people. To give him that kind of money at this stage of his career is just a pure panic. It's lazy from Arsenal. It's a mistake they've made in the past too. So it's really lazy stuff from the club. They are stuck again, and they're in that situation where they want to try and get someone at the club, but they want to be paid the same as Aubameyang. The club can't pay that again, but he's not putting up figures that are mind-blowing. Do Arsenal have another Ozil situation on their hands? This is all Aubameyang needs to use as motivation. He said it's up to the manager whether this becomes another Ozil situation, which it's not, because the man's actually playing and things like that. You know, Aubameyang turns his form around, this goes away. So it's nothing to do with the Ozil one. And really, this is kind of disrespectful on Arteta, because as much as I can look at Arteta with the Ozil thing, we all know that was a bit of above board. We know Ozil was a top drawer player, people. He said if Ozil would have played, he would have made chances for sure. He would have always got in my team. But at Arsenal, if I was the manager, you play your best players and you get players who are going to work a bit harder around them. Facts. Xhaka can't do what Ozil does, and Ozil can't do what Xhaka does. He did praise Xhaka earlier, and I think he wasn't wrong with what he said. He is not wrong in terms of speaking about Smith Rowe. Like I said, just focusing on bits and pieces about Aubameyang. You know, this is, again, he's allowed to change his opinion. Listen, if you believe the Aubameyang signing the right deal was the right thing at the time, hindsight has proven you wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. We've all been shown that. I just don't like when man are begging man to stay, and then they kind of give the talk of, oh, you know, I knew all along giving Aubameyang was a dead deal, and I don't like that from the pundits. We all know we live in a day and age of sensationalized clicks and all of these sort of things. Almost a year to the day, or a year and a week. What is said there, people? Man are talking about, like he said, we shouldn't have given him a new deal, but now he's saying the grass isn't always greener. People, what is he speaking? This is the sort of rewriting history I don't like, people. Paul Merson explains why Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang should stay at Arsenal. It's easy saying move to another club, more ambitious club, win stuff, but there are not a lot of trophies to win, especially with the two phenomenal clubs, Liverpool and Man City. He said he was very fortunate to play for Arsenal, and make no mistake about it, it's a great club. The grass is not always green on the other side. You have to be careful. Aubameyang is at an age now where he'll play every week for Arsenal. If he goes to, say, Man United or somewhere else, 4 or 5 bad games and you're out the team, he's going to play every week at Arsenal. And when you're coming towards the end of your career, 2 or 3 years to go, you have got to enjoy your football and play. If I were Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's agent, I'd be stressing that he's at one of the best clubs in the world, a phenomenal football club that has as much chance as anyone, bar Man City and Liverpool, of winning something. For me, I would stay. People, this is what I'm talking about. You can't go from that moving like this about Ozil's situation and where did he say it? Like I said, focus on that paragraph, people. Okay, you're begging man to stay and then you're saying it's lazy, bro. Someone, bro, brother, what's going on? People, am I smoking budge? Or like, this is what I'm saying. Like I said, for the record, once again, you know, if you believed at the time and hindsight is showing, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the language. You can't be calling Arsenal lazy, saying it's a mistake, criticizing and bashing them. And then, but a year ago, you was almost begging him to stay. You're saying not go to a City, a Liverpool, and all these other teams because he's going to play week in, week out. Like, what's going on? I know hindsight's a fantastic teacher, people, but walk on for that. Walk on for that. I'm calling this Paul Merson chatting. And facts on Xhaka, I'll give him that because he did say that's one thing I give him. I'm a fair person, you know. Like you're seeing here. If I think you're chatting crap, I'm gonna tell you you're chatting crap. If someone thinks I'm chatting crap, I want to be told I'm talking crap. But I think he's right about Xhaka. I think he's right about Xhaka, and it tells us where we're at as a football club. One thing I give Xhaka, he's got mentality, whether you like him or loathe him, you know. But we have been involved in performances where Xhaka's played and it's been collapsed. So let's not speak about Xhaka and Luiz playing and assume it means we win. But I can't disagree with what he said. I agree with what he said there. The defeat Liverpool I think that's meant to say the Liverpool defeat just goes to show you how good Granit Xhaka is. He became a much better player not playing against Liverpool. Facts. People say to me they don't know what Xhaka does. He doesn't score goals. He doesn't make goals and he gets booked and all that. But give him his dues. What was glaring to see in the Arsenal defeat is that he wants the ball. He looks for the ball. In times of trouble, he always tries and gets on the ball. And that's what they didn't have. No one was sharing for the ball. And in the end, the goalkeeper was just beating the ball. Honestly, it was mind-blowing. I can't disagree with that. I fully agree with what he said there, people. But like I said, man, Paul Merson, you know, I understand bills have to get paid. I understand, you know, where journalism is. But I just think it's lazy. And I know when you go to bed, you don't feel good about yourself. I know when you look at your wife, you just know you're chatting shit. Like, it's not making sense. It's not making sense. And again, as much as I feel Aubameyang should be dropped, how unhappy I am, this makes me want to double down on the support of these Arsenal footballers because this is what they should be on. Us against the world. For Aubameyang, for all of these players, obviously you're not doing the job. Ultimately, if you were scoring goals, man would still love you. But football is real, you know. Man were begging you to stay. They're begging you to leave now. Football fans don't give a crap about you. So I hope this shows footballers, especially the young Smith Rowe and Saka, fans can turn on you in an instant. You know, everybody loves you until you have a bad game. So fix up. It's as simple as that, you know. And if I'm Aubameyang, I don't need any more motivation from my poor form, for what my manager or my players are saying, from what the fans are saying. I'm looking at these pundits now. And if I'm these other players and I hear them talking about Aubameyang, and we do know Aubameyang looks like a good character and them things there in the squad, this is going to make me want to ride out for him. This is going to make me want to put in a performance. So to shut these guys up with this BS, really and truly. Oh, somebody's moving. There's some why people are moving breaky in the comments, but he's watching and that. It's a bit breaky, man. It's mad. Like this is what I don't understand, man. Really don't understand it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of the working hard thing. You know, I'm not a fan of the working hard thing. You know, I'm not a fan of the working hard thing because you should be working hard. I find myself saying it as well, you know. I find myself saying it as well when I like players. Oh, he works hard, he puts in a shift, and then I stop myself. I'm like, brother, working hard, putting in a shift, they're given. Like, why am I praising man for doing that? You know, why am I praising? Surely, if anything is serious about you put in a shift, you know, and 9 times out of 10, even me, when you name them things there, when you say he puts in a shift, he works hard, it's because they're not 10 times, 9 times out of 10, they're not very good footballers, you know, or they're lacking in a lot of areas. Aubameyang's been bad. That's what we can say, but man don't need to rewrite history. That's my point. I just don't like liars. I just don't like lying. Bro, only Arsenal can win today, man. You know, only Arsenal will be the ones to decide that, bro. Only Arsenal. Defo tap dancing for Sky Sports, man. Moderators then blocked you by accident. It's cool, bro. It's cool. You're still there, man. I hope you're all there for the watch along, people. I hope you're all there for the watch along. Spammers, please make sure you're not doing that because, like, why are you spamming, bro? Like, there's no need for that, man. What likes we on 209? There's 342 of you, so a couple of you are doing the guy dirty, but God's watching you. God is watching you. What's going on here? Where's the other tab I had? There we go. We need Emil Smith Rowe to play amazing playmaker. I hope we win. I don't know. I don't know. Arsenal need to show me something. Big up Queens. He's saying, good morning, my guy. I hope we manage to get the W today. Bless up and keep the positive energy, DG. Will do, my guy. We'll have to see. The match is at 8 p.m. UK time. If you're in the UK, then that's that. If not, then obviously you need to put 2 and 2 together. Is there any more things linking Arsenal to anything? Really? I know Maitland-Niles has been linked with Southampton and Palace. We can cover that some other time. What else is there? We know Tini's out. So yeah, man. Is what it is. Podcast tomorrow. Yep. Hey, make sure you're there. Deluded podcast will be out on Friday. We'll be reviewing what's happened this season. I mean, this week in terms of football talking points. Obviously, the Champions League and the Europa League, and we'll be previewing the weekend's game. So make sure you're on Spotify, you're on Apple, you're following on all of those sort of things. Come on, if you don't hit the like button, your toes getting stubbed. You're gonna burn your tongue on your tea. Bare fuckeries is happening to you. So hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. T, we know this. If you don't look a certain way, you have attitude problems. And definitely someone like Paul Merson, who was a bit more of a maverick, you'd expect a bit better from him, really. That's just me, anyways, you know. When certain other people have a chip on their shoulder, they're spoken about as being edgy and things like that. These are the unconscious biases that go into football because, you know, when man are giving penalties to other players, when people are doing things for charity, you know, they're not spoken about having a bad attitude, you know. Let's not attribute. Whenever there's bad form, people always can't just call it for what it is. Always got to add other things and start moving mad and carrying on. If a man's got a bad attitude, by always he's got a bad attitude. But it is what it is, man. Big up yourself for the super chat. I appreciate that. You said Van Persie, Cess, Song, Nasri, and Sanchez, even Henri, all left when we wanted them to stay. Money or not, some loyalty should be in his credit. Facts. Vieira as well. You know, Vieira was my guy. Vieira and Henri are probably my two favorite Arsenal players. But let's be serious. Every year he was twerking for Real Madrid. He even tried joining United. He was on a Mazzolini. I see someone say shout out to Kano. So shout out to young Kano as well. It's the comments gone, but shout out to Kano if he's locked in. I mean, 100 million is not going to do much, and I don't believe they'll sell him unless he forces his move. I wouldn't sell him. And again, 100 million, but then you're probably going to have to buy another right winger. How much money has Saka saved you? Arguably, you're going to need to buy a right winger and a left back, you know, really and truly. So it's cutting off our nose to spite our face. Can we just get rid of the bad players first? That should be me. Is what it is, man. I'd start Martinelli. Don't quite think he's the next Pogba, but I think he's a good player. Would you swap? Would you swap Zaha for Maitland-Niles? I'd entertain it because he's been linked there. You know, I'd actually entertain swapping him with Southampton with Ward-Prowse. Like, let's feel Ward-Prowse. We need another midfielder, but I think he'd plug a gap. He's consistent. He understands football, man. I ain't forgot about Nelson, but looking like that situation is going to have to change, in my opinion. But it is what it is, man. It really is what it is. I can't lie, though, folks. With that, I'm going to get out of here. You know, I'm not going to keep it going too long. Obviously, it's a busy day in terms of streaming. I've got 2 other streams on my channel, 3 if you include rants. I'm sure you've all been checking out the pin message and hitting the like button. But as you lot can see here, it's watch along business, people. Please make sure you're all there. You know, there's the link in the comments. Please make sure you're there. Be like Daniel. There's 24 likes so far. Reaction business after this watch along. So if you're not there for the watch along, pop through for the reaction. We've got 25 likes, 24 if you exclude mine. Joe Willock's doing well, but I haven't learned nothing about Joe Willock. He's still a lot of gear and no idea. And to be fair with you, I still haven't even uploaded the loan report. That will be out this afternoon as well. It's done. So yeah, you'll get that. But for now, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'll catch you lot in a couple hours, people. You know, it's a long day. So yeah, I appreciate everybody locked in. See you at the watch along. Peter is saying, what time you on Rance's channel? 1 p.m, my dude. I hope everybody's well, man. Graham, I'll leave you lot with this comment from Graham. Good players don't leave Arsenal for money, they go for trophies. Average players come to Arsenal for the peas. You know, take care, people. I'll catch you lot all later. But for now, please make sure you've hit that like button if you haven't. Big up the Twitch gang, people. Deluded, I'm out.